So, in light of the National Association of Realtors lawsuit that was settled recently, you're going to hear a lot of headlines, a lot of things. I've been seeing them in media too, but you're going to be hearing a lot about the aftermath of that decision. And the biggest thing that's getting the most noise right now is from sellers saying, do I have to pay a buyer's agent's commission? The answer is no. Sellers have never had to pay a buyer's agent commission. In fact, sellers have never had to pay any commission. That's literally the definition of a for sale by owner. A for sale by owner is someone who wants to sell their property, but they don't want to pay a professional to help them with the transaction. And so when people are asking me, do I have to pay commission? The answer is always no. It's negotiable. It's always been negotiable. But there have been some changes, and we can't put compensation fields in the MLS. The thought is they're trying to make it more transparent, and to me that's the equivalent of saying, here, let me rinse you off with this water hose to dry you off. Like it doesn't make any sense, but leave it to the powers that be. It's not, I don't make the rules, I just have to follow them. So when you if you're a buyer or a seller and an agent says something that sounds different, they're not trying to pull shenanigans. There have been some changes, namely that commission fields have been eliminated from the MLS. They're no longer up front in a listing agreement. It's something that your agent will talk to you about and find out what your position is, but we're not putting those fields into the MLS. It's going to have to be negotiated into the contract and written into the contract, and completely negotiable along with the purchase price and who pays the title policy and who pays for a survey and whether or not there's a home warranty, and on and on and on. So on the flip side, for buyers, if you want to go look at a piece of property or a home, in the past you might have gone with an agent and looked at a couple of properties and decided if you wanted to work with that person, and conversely, a lot of times agents will test out buyers and see if they're a good fit before they require them to sign any documents. Starting August 17th, it's a rule that you cannot go and look at a piece of property or a house or any real estate holding at all without having some sort of representation agreement signed with that agent. Now, it could be a one-time showing agreement, it could be for a week, it could be for 6 months. There's all kinds of agreements that are going to be out there and going to be up for discussion, but you will have to have that. So my sellers that I'm having listing appointments with, when they ask me that question about, do I have to pay a buyer's agent commission? Again, the answer is no, you don't have to. It's definitely negotiable. But there's a couple of reasons why, if you're a seller, why you want to consider paying and offering that compensation package to a buyer's agent, and why you want to factor it into your sales price. Number one, the main thing is that when you work with a buyer who's represented by an agent, you get a better qualified, more educated buyer. And so with that, you have a higher success rate of getting to the closing table. Unrepresented buyers, they don't know what they don't know. They don't know timelines, they don't know, procedure, they don't know anything about how to get a transaction closed. And on the listing side, I can't help you. Like, if you're a buyer and you're unrepresented, I can't tell you how to do the thing to get it closed. Like, that's not it's not my job. My job is to represent the seller. And so when you go into something unrepresented, it just really is very hard to think that you're going to get to the closing table. And so the second thing that I am telling my clients is, if you are offering that compensation package, like, you're gonna get more eyes on your property, and that's the goal. Like, anytime you've got something for sale, it's all about supply and demand. And so when we have limited inventory and you are putting your property on the market, you want the most number of people to come and see your property. You want to generate the most buzz, and the way to do that is to get it into the MLS, to get it to filter out to all of those consumer sites that everyone searches on Sunday night when they're supposed to be, getting ready to go to bed, and you're up until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning looking at real estate. You want those feeds to be having the exposure of having your property on them, and you get that by offering compensation to a buyer's agent who is going to bring you a qualified buyer. They're through their approval process with their lender. The agent on the other side knows how to get all the timelines done so that your property is going to sell, and it's going to close successfully. Unrepresented buyers have a highly unsuccessful rate of getting a property to the closing table. And so, it really just boils down to how you want to handle a transaction, like whether you want to do it professionally or unprofessionally. Like those are the two choices. And so if you want to have the most success, get the most money for your property, and have it be a relatively stress-free experience, hire a professional. It's just like going to a doctor for a medical issue. You wouldn't necessarily try to do your own operation after you were diagnosed. Same thing with real estate. You want to have professionals to get you to the closing table. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message. I'm happy to answer anything that you guys have.